It's Pro Tour Philadelphia, it's modern, the format. We're going to take you through some of the players you're going to see in action this weekend with me, Rich Hagon, and him, Brian David-Marshall. BDM, let's start with two players who are on a mission this weekend, perhaps. Patrick Chapin, the innovator, 4th in the Hall of Fame voting. Ouch.
Yeah, you need to appear on 40% of the entire ballot in order to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Patrick fell just short of that mark. He ended up being in 4th place. Shuhei Nakamura, Anton Janssen, and Stephen O'Mahony-Schwartz all got in this year above 40%. Patrick was just below that mark. It's worth noting, though, that, I mean, that's a significant jump up from his voting total from the previous year, probably no doubt in response to him getting in the 4th top 8 of his Pro Tour career. So, you know, I think good things in store for Patrick in future classes.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you know, and he's continued to perform well. We talked about he had a top 8 in Paris. He
9th place at Nationals.
9th place at Nationals. And then he's just in the semifinals just this past weekend playing standard at Grand Prix Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Second player we want to talk about, Hall of Famer, Mr. Jon Finkel. Been a bit busy of late. Here he is. I wonder whether modern is a format for him. Arguably it would be for Patrick Chapin because such a vast space.
Yeah, it's a deck builder's paradise, right?
Sure.
I mean, this format, you know, was announced several weeks ago, and someone like Patrick, you know, here's this unknown format, right? This unknown metagame. Break it, right?
So,
that's exactly the kind of thing he thrives on.
So is Jon Finkel here just for the show because it's down the road, or is he here meaning business?
Well, I mean, a little of both, right? I think Jon doesn't normally come to Pro Tours these days. He's a very busy man. He's in his adult life doing very successful things. But he wanted to come to this event. It's in his backyard. He grew up around the Philadelphia area. He roots for Philadelphia sports teams.
Shameful.
And he knew his grandfather would be here, and his grandfather has never seen him play Magic. So it's kind of a little bit of a scary thing, I think, for everyone else in the field, because not only is Jon coming here to have a good time and hang out with his friends and play Magic, he's coming here to do well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've looked at the events where Jon has decided that he was going to show up and do well at, but he normally does well at them.
That's true. He's a pretty successful guy.
Yes.
All in all.
And, you know, and all of this would have been a big story that we would be talking about in the preview piece anyway if Jon hadn't been on Forbes and the Village Voice and the LA Times,
Washington Post,
Attack of the Show. Jon's had a crazy, crazy week. And when it started off, it seemed like maybe it was going to be not a great week because he got kind of attacked in an online article by on a tech site where someone was talking about a date she went on with Jon.
Yep.
And she was just kind of like, well, he seemed like a good-looking guy. He seemed pretty successful, but oh my God, he plays Magic. Why didn't he tell me he plays Magic? And she kind of attacked him for being adolescent and not letting go of childish things or whatever it is. And the internet attacked.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually what happened is that the gaming community as a whole, not just his friends, not just Magic, but gaming as a community, stood up and went, actually, you're just wrong. We're awesome. Gamers are great.
Right. Jon is the best player in the world, or one of the 2 or 3 best players in the world, depending on who you're friends with, at something he loves. I mean, what an amazing thing. And that was really the common thread through the stories you saw where people were like, I don't know why someone would say this. This guy seems awesome. He's really good at something, and he loves doing it.
Okay. Let's talk about some other people who are awesome at something they love doing. The top 10 or so in the Player of the Year race. Let's get to it. Let's see. On our board, we begin. Shuhei Nakamura, 28 points.
Hall of Famer elect. I mean, you know, 28 points seems like kind of a low total for somebody who gets what did he have last year? Like 402 and 600 the year before that. I mean, this seems like a quiet year for sure. I mean, 28 points, he locks up all his benefits for next year pretty soon.
Sure. Next person, same points, Paul Rietzl, 28. I'm going to spoil it for you. Paul Rietzl's going to win this Pro Tour, and I'm here to tell you why. Paul Rietzl loves Affinity. Affinity is available to Paul Rietzl. He kicked himself mercilessly at Pro Tour Nagoya when he could have played Tempered Steel, chose not to, played some hideous control deck, and he went, I'm never doing that again. If Affinity is legit at this tournament, and we think it might be, there's a good chance that he will play something like that, maybe Boros. I expect him to do very well 1 year after he won the equivalent Pro Tour in Amsterdam.
Any aggro deck, really. If there's a best aggro deck, expect Paul to be playing it.
Let's go up one. Vincent Lemoine, now he's jumped into our top 10, courtesy of Nationals season.
So Belgian Nationals?
Belgian national champion Vincent Lemoine, and of course top 8 in Paris.
Right.
So congratulations to him. Let's move further up, and now we have a jump up to Shota Yasuoka.
Former Player of the Year. Shota was top 8 of Japanese Nationals.
Yep.
He's been having a quietly very, very good year. Top 8 of Japanese Nationals. Didn't make the team, though.
There's a little theme we're going to see there, because that top 8, such a big deal. The quarterfinals of Nationals, one of the biggest pressure matches of the year, because, yeah, you're in the top 8, you go to bed Saturday night, hooray, top 8. The next morning, you win your quarterfinal, you go to Worlds. Maybe you get on the team, maybe you're the alternate. But you lose your quarterfinal, that's it. You go home, here, have some boosters, thanks very much, see you next year.
Right. And for someone like Shota or Vincent Lemoine, who are in the Player of the Year race, the extra points that you unlock that extra achievement of being able to get points in the team competition.
Up we go. One extra point, Martin User. Now, explain this. I don't understand how Martin, who's a tremendous player, don't get me wrong, has got to 34 points without anyone really noticing. A couple of GP top 8s?
Yeah, he's got a couple GP top 8s. He's consistently in the money. He's, one of the best drafters on the planet, really exploiting the split format Pro Tours. Would you ever not pick him for a top 8?
He's just Mr. Consistent.
Right. He's Mr. Consistent, and you always sort of expect him to burst out on top at any given event.
Same mark, Paolo Vita Damarosa. Now, this is the man with the hole card, because Paolo has not played his Nationals yet. Most of the others, they've played, and they've not got a ton of points. Paolo comes back in 2 weeks. I'll be there, hooray, in Sao Paulo to see whether he can get a jump start heading towards Worlds. It's a very similar scenario to last year.
Has Paolo ever done well at his Nationals?
Do you know, it is something that is burning on his resume that he wants to accomplish. Because obviously he's the big guy. But you've got Willie Adel, you've got Carlos Ramal, the dual format world champion, 2002, and then online from last year. It's a decent field. So let's come across the wall and let's take you to the top 5. We have Mr. David Scharfman, 38 points, the man who's won twice at Pro Tour weekends this year. So
he's got the Grand Prix win at
Paris.
And then he's got the Nagoya win at our last Pro Tour. This was a guy who tore through the limited top 8, very quietly. We thought that maybe Luis Scott Vargas was going to win that when we looked at the draft decks, but Scharfman knew what he was doing, and he just tore through that field. So, and he's in really good shape. Okay. By the way, it's interesting to note, not only are our 2 Pro Tour winners this year so far Americans, they're Americans from Florida.
Yeah, there's this unofficial Florida State Championship because Patrick Cox is really involved in that as well.
Right.
Let's stay on 38 points. Yuya Watanabe. Now, wasn't he on about 6 points last Tuesday?
Well, before this recent stretch of Grand Prix, he had, I believe, 10 points.
Okay.
And he went 8 points at Grand Prix Kansas City, finishing second to Luis Scott Vargas. 10 points at Grand Prix Shanghai. Winning that event, which was limited, and then 10 points at Grand Prix Pittsburgh just this past weekend, demolishing the top 8 in standard.
Yeah, now I've got to tell you, on my notes here, I actually wrote down first Singapore, first Philadelphia, wait, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia first. 2 more days, we've got to wait for that.
This streak is very reminiscent of a couple years ago when he won the Player of the Year title. All of a sudden, he just came on really, really strong in the middle of a stretch of like 6 GP top 8s, a Nationals top 8, a Pro Tour Austin top 8, and he, really propelled him to the Player of the Year title. I feel like we're seeing something very similar, but he seems to even be playing better. He seems even more formidable to me right now. So,
what about this guy, Luis Scott Vargas, 38 points. Now, again, this is someone who obviously has been a great of the modern game, Pro Tour winner in Berlin in 2008. But he kind of took his eye off the ball a little bit because he's the kind of the father figure for Channel Fireball.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Seriously. I've heard people say this. They're like, LSV, I mean, he was pretty good back in the day.
I didn't say that.
But I've heard other people say that, and even you saying he took his eye off the ball. All right. Since Pro Tour Berlin, there have been 12 Pro Tours. This will be the 13th.
Sure.
In those 12 Pro Tours, what do you believe Luis Scott Vargas's median finish is? And I'm looking at the camera, but I'm asking you, Rich.
Okay. So you had San Diego top 8. So, okay. I don't know. So if you reckon top 32 is pretty great. So let's go with 31.
You're off by 20 places.
51.
His median finish in 12 Pro Tours is 11th. 11th. His 6th worst finish in the last 3 years is 11th place. Of those 12 Pro Tours, he's failed to make day 2 once. He's failed to make money twice. He is the best player on the planet.
Luis Scott Vargas, the best player on the planet, comfortably median finish 11th. Just thought you should know. Let's move up again. 2nd place, Ben Stark. I have 3 words. Is it over? Ben Stark in Nagoya. Of course, he won in Paris. Then in Nagoya, he's still in contention, 2 rounds to go. It's a limited top 8. He's 6-0 limited. So now, if he can get past Galdenis Vidugiris in the penultimate round, he IDs into the top 8. Maybe he goes 9-0, maybe he gets another 25 points. Player of the year, it's over. But Vidugiris wins that. At that point, Ben Stark doesn't come to US Nationals. So, 3 words. Is it over?
1 word, no.
And finally, leading the Player of the Year race right now on 45 points, Owen Turtenwald of the United States. How is he placed for modern? What's his team? Who's he with?
Well, I mean, Owen has been in the ski lodge, right? And, you know, the same team that, you know, brought you Treehouse in Amsterdam, the same team that brought you Cobblade in Paris, the sort of the Channel Fireball team that's sort of includes Kibler and Conley and has expanded to include Shuhei and Yuya for this year, all ensconced themselves in a off-season ski resort and, you know, ate like beef jerky and, you know, built the modern gauntlet, right? And, you know, tried to figure out what this format was going to be. Owen is someone who has, like, I think, a special insight into this format because he really comes to this Pro Tour competition field from being someone who excelled at Legacy and Vintage and older formats.
He's like a top-down coming to modern rather than a standard-up, isn't he? So very interesting to see.
Very interesting also to see 45 points, right? Like that's a career for a lot of people. 45 points. He still doesn't have a Pro Tour top 8 this season.
Nope.
So, and I don't believe anyone has ever won the Player of the Year title, you know, without a Pro Tour top 8.
Okay, so from your point of view, for Owen Turtenwald to stay where he is right now on the top of the standings, you say he needs a top 8 either here or at Worlds in San Francisco.
Correct. Because if he doesn't get one, you see all these guys here and all these guys here. These guys are going to get 1, maybe 2 top 8s. I wouldn't be surprised to see all of them or nearly all of them with at least 1 top 8 between now and then. So, you know, getting to that like kind of really double-digit meaty point total is going to be essential for winning the title.
So there you have it, some of the great players around here at Pro Tour Philadelphia, Modern and M12. We will see you all weekend long. Don't you dare go away. For Brian David-Marshall, I'm your host, Rich Hagon, saying bye.